Well, hi, everybody. Excuse me. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday afternoon. And I don't have much of a voice for some reason. Wow. Okay. Welcome. And today we are going to be talking about boundaries. We are going to be talking about letting go. Hi there, Jody. We're going to be talking about pacing, all the things that I've discovered this week. What I promised to do for the viewers, for those of you who are new or don't know the broadcast, I'm in the middle of downsizing my house. That's done, and now I'm into the phase of selling my house. But I'm also busy trying to sell my trailer as well. And I've had the trailer for close on 20 years, and it has so many emotional moments that were had in that trailer. And it's, extremely difficult because I'm trying to go through it and take things out. But, what amazes me is how many small things I held on to over the years. Little notes from people, sherbet suckers that people gave me because they knew I loved those. All the different things that I'm finding that really touch my soul. And the interesting thing in terms of that is that for the longest time, I have been saying that somewhere in my life, I have put away some gray pants, long trousers for those of you in England, some gray pants and the tops that go with them. And I couldn't find them anywhere. I searched, my garage 2 times at least to try and find out, because that was the obvious place they would be. Well, they weren't there. And then I found out where they were. They were all packed away very neatly into my trailer from about a year ago, when I obviously had packed things into the trailer. There were some tops that I was missing. They were there too. Because what I had done is I packed up the trailer to go away. And whenever I do that, I take clothes for warm weather, clothes for not so warm weather, clothes to maybe go out one evening, and then also clothes for cold, in case it rains a lot or something. And so all those clothes were in the trailer, and I'm going, well, there you go. I guess I can check that one off my list as well. It's been on my list for 6 months, I would think. By the way, just a heads up for those of you who have a feather duvet or even any sort of a duvet, I like to remind people, if I can, that it's a really good idea to wash them I actually wash mine every season. Now, I'm lucky because mine's a feather duvet. And so I just put it, I have a what I call a big size washer dryer. And I can put my duvet in there without any problem at all. And in fact, I put it in with some floor mat, what do you call them, bath mats as well, with 3 bath mats went in as well, to give you some idea of how big that washer dryer is of mine. So that's the first bit of good news, is I found those things. The other thing is I got a legal document signed, which some of you know is always a challenge for me. I'm not good about that. But I wanted to talk about the boundaries. And what happened was that I agreed to sell my trailer for a given amount of money, which was fine, on the condition that they took it off my property. In other words, that they were going to give me the money, we were going to go and change the insurance on it, and then done. I don't have to worry about getting it off, the property and go and parking it somewhere for somebody. I didn't want any of that because I've got enough on my plate already. And so that was the deal that I did. And now, it's been really interesting because the person trying to buy it has tried to change those conditions one way and another, about 3 or 4 times. And I'm just a broken record. And I wanted to talk about it because I am certain that most people would have been manipulated by it because they want the money. All right? People concentrate on, yes, but if I don't do what they want, maybe I won't get the deal. And my attitude was, if you are meant to get the trailer, then this will go just fine. It might not be convenient, but it is what you agreed to. And if you agreed to it, I have every right to agree to my side of it as well. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, which is, don't make an agreement that you can't keep to. The other thing was, I did go for the win-win. I know that having a hitch that will take the weight of my trailer, can be an issue. So, what I offered to do is to lend them my hitch assembly. Now, part of me goes, why don't I just give them the hitch assembly? Because I'm probably not going to get another trailer. And, the bit that goes through my mind, and I don't know if any of you relate to this, is it cost me nearly $1,000, that hitch assembly alone. So this is called, do I sell it? Or do I sell it separately? Hi there, Nada. And so, that's what's a bugbear for me at the moment. So I haven't made that decision yet, but I probably will need to make it by tomorrow. And I will discuss it with somebody later on today, just so that I can get clear on that one. The other thing is I might be able to sell it privately afterwards, just separately, because it is a really good hitch and brand new. It's never been used. So that is that. And so what happened was, I was told, I was asked, I think about Tuesday, if I got this right, whether I could have it ready by Thursday. And I went, no. You see, I didn't concentrate on trying to please them. I concentrated on what we agreed to. And so I said, no, Saturday is the day, because that's what we agreed to. And that's what I have planned everything around. All my, excuse me, all my pacing, does that make sense, for the week has been based on the trailer has to be ready to go on Saturday, by Saturday noon. And so all my pacing for the week, keeping out of stress, everything like that has been based on that fact. So when, I was asked around about Monday, Tuesday, could I have it ready by Thursday? I just went, no, it's going to be ready by lunchtime Saturday, as we agreed. You see, I kept repeating those words, as we agreed. And so what I wanted to say about those boundaries, do you understand that if I was really worried about making this sale, I probably would concentrate on, I better do what they want, because, otherwise I might lose the sale. I really, my mind isn't there. My mind is, I presume that they want the sale. And if they don't, by saying no on Monday or Tuesday, that would have been enough to get rid of the sale if they weren't solid on it. But they didn't. They actually went back. And then yesterday, if you can believe this, they asked me again, could they pick it up last night? And I went, no. We've had this conversation before. It will be ready lunchtime on Saturday. And so to me, it is really, really important that you understand it is okay to set that boundary. If you make a deal with somebody and you say the deal is predicated on this, is conditional on this, and this, then it's a really okay thing to do. And if they agree to it verbally or otherwise, it's really important to stick to it for you. Because what happens to us, we get tied into other people's needs and wants. And so Nada's saying, I hear that. Why do people do that, Sal? Sometimes they ask just to see if it's possible, not to frustrate you. But I like how you stay firm. Nada, I didn't have to be nasty or anything. I just firm, fair, and friendly, which is, I know that's what you probably would like. But as we agreed, the trailer will be ready to take on Saturday, lunchtime. And, then when I got it the second time, I said, we have already had this conversation. The trailer will be ready to be collected. I guess there's no harm in the asking. No, that's a good point, Nada. There was a 50-50 chance I could say yes. But if you knew me, there was no chance. And no harm in saying no, Nada. You see, if I were tied into, but maybe I will lose the sale if I don't agree to it, You see, I didn't get caught up in all of that. I didn't get sucked into all of that. This is like, okay, God, if this is the right person, then this deal will still go through. And if this deal doesn't still go through, it wasn't the right person. Does that make sense? You see, I'm really getting into a very Zen place at the moment, if I can call it that, where I'm actually trusting the universe a lot more. And because I'm trusting it, you love that vacuum, getting sucked in, yeah. A lot of people comment on that one, Nada. But it's a really important thing to understand that people suck you in all the time. You're perfectly at peace, and then one telephone call can have you sucked into all sorts of stress. And, I watched something happen this week. Hi, Kay. Well, thank you very much for the warm hugs, and I will send them back to you. So one of the other things I heard happen this week was a very dear friend of ours got really upset again about a relative, and a relative who is doing things that really she thinks shouldn't happen and will put her at risk, and all sorts of things are going on. And I am trying to help her see that the way you get out of stress is you stop playing God. Now, when I say stop playing God, what happens is we get all taken out of context. We get taken out of our serenity. We get taken out of everything, trying to tell people what to do with their lives, or how to live their lives, or what they should or should not do. Now, you know that that's all control stuff. And if you don't get that every time you do that, that is about control, I think that you should do X, Y, and Z. It's okay to have an opinion, but what they do with their lives, as long as they're an adult, is really nothing to do with you. Do any of you have a problem with that one? When people do things and you're going, well, they shouldn't be doing that, because I think it's time for me to give you a few words around that. Because what makes you think that they shouldn't be doing that? You see, do you know what God's plan is for this person? Do you know what lessons they need to learn right now? Do you know what their speed is versus your speed? All these sort of questions. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is it is really important that we do things, to look after ourselves, worry a lot less about other people. All right, Nada's saying this week, where a person used to be in my life and now they want to call me and be in my life, but I don't know if I want that, because they were pretty controlling. But I think they learned that lesson after 2 years. Well, it's quite simple, Nada. You can let them in a little bit and see if they go back to being controlling. If they go back to being controlling, you can laugh and go, I thought this was going to work a second time around, but I really find you very controlling, and that really messes up my life. And so I really need to tell you, I can't do this anymore. All right, so it's okay to let people know. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. Maybe they've got they've made all sorts of people in their life who are controlling, and they're just fine. They're good buds. But, for you, it doesn't work. Yes, you can test the waters. Now, Jodi's had that problem, right, Jodi? So that's why you understand. You've had that problem with a couple of people that you know. And they're inclined to drop self-invitations. We're coming on Thursday on Jodi. And Jodi, just had to learn it's okay for her to say no. No, you're not coming on Thursday. You may want to come on Thursday, but no, it doesn't. It's not enough warning for me. And so this is a really important one. By the way, we do need to give a tip for the day. Jodi had a situation yesterday. Can I tell the story about the doggy, Jodi? All right, so Ned is saying this person helped me out a lot, but also helped me out bad a lot. Yes, so, you got to, most people are not perfect, Ned. And so, but what if you are in, what if their circle of life is going this way and yours is going this way? And every now and then you need to teach each other another lesson. That's how I'd look at it. Yes, and not be intimidated. There you go. It's okay. Yeah, Jody has now, she's just confirming, she's now learned those words. You're not coming on Thursday. You may think you are, but actually you're not. And so, okay, here's a great story that Jody, contacted me during the week, and she did something we've all done, which is she accidentally dropped a pill from when she was sorting out her pills onto the floor, and her little fluff ball, Taylor, got hold of that pill before Jody could pick it up. And luckily, Jody got it out of the fluff ball's mouth, but about a quarter of the pill had been consumed. And so one of the things that Jody said was she immediately gave the dog some bread, and luckily it wasn't something that was going to kill it. But I said, you may want to give it extra water. And then I thought, how do you get a dog to drink extra water, right? And so I said to her, I would take a bowl and put its favorite smelly treat, whatever that is, beef jerky, whatever you have that is the best ever treat for that pup. I'd throw it in the bottom of the bowl. Because, dogs' sense of smell is so good that they will smell that treat, just before it hits the water. And they know where the treat is because they can see it. And it was quite interesting because Jody said, the pup sort of looked at it and barked at it like, jump up so I can eat you. And the treat did nothing. And then it jumped back and then jumped forward again and barked at it again. Like, get out of there. I need to eat you. And then worked out the only way to get to the treat was to drink the water. So I thought some of you might like that if you've got pups. I'm sure, you've all got ways to get pups to take their pills and stuff like that. Some of you, use cheese, wrap a pill in cheese. And some of you, mine always, all the time I had dogs, I always had honeyed ham in my fridge. Because I found dogs will do almost anything for honeyed ham. And so to me, it was like, okay, fine. If I put a pill inside honeyed ham, no problem. If I need them to sit quietly and behave themselves, they'll do it for honey ham, All right, so let's see. So Jody's saying it worked like a charm, everybody. Once he knew that Daddy wasn't going to rescue that treat for him, he worked it out. He was going to have to drink the water, and he did. All right, so Nat is saying, my dog likes ice cubes to get hydrated or a stray bottle. She will drink it that way, yes. Now, the problem that we needed to get a lot of water inside that dog in a hurry to compensate for the pill. That's the reason why we did it. So anyway, it worked, which is the main thing. So the question that I have any of you had any situations this week where you needed to set down a boundary? Are you beginning to see these boundaries a lot more clearly now? Where people are trying to get you to do things that you don't necessarily want to do, but they want you to adjust to because they want to do it. I think when you can start seeing that, in your life, it's when you start correcting it. Quite honestly, I lived absolutely blind to that reality for so long. I didn't realize people were doing to me all the time. And it wasn't until I started to say to them, I know that's what you want me to do. Okay, so Ned is saying how to not get intimidated. Why did they frighten you? I had a bank phone me up once, Neda, and wanted me to pay out a loan that I had. And I said to them, hey, I understand you want me to pay it off. The truth is that I can't. Which is like, I can't at this moment. Well, we need you to come in and sign and change the conditions of your loan. And I said, why would I be stupid enough to do that? what? I said, why would I come in and change the conditions of my loan? At the moment, I have an unsecured loan and I'm very happy with it. Thank you. No, but we need you to come in and sign new documents. I don't want to. I have the documents. I have a never-ending loan with you guys, unsecured. Well, that was a mistake. I said, be that as it may, that's what I have. That's what I'm keeping hold of. You see, they cannot change the conditions of my loan just on a whim. I've got a contract with them. Does that make sense to everybody? So, the fact that he wants me to do something different, that's, fine, go whistle Dixie. But I didn't have to be rude. I said, I understand that you want me to change that. Yeah, I'm not going to, but I understand that you need it, that you would like it changed. And so how not to get intimidated? Excuse me, everyone. So give me some, yes, they would, an authority figure, a mentor. The easiest way, Nada, that I've found, which is, I would say to them, something? I've always seen you as such a mentor, and I love you for that. And I didn't think, I really didn't think I'd ever come to this point, but I have to say to you that at this moment, I have to agree to disagree with you. I know you're very wise and you've given me great information, and I certainly will give it some thought, and I appreciate your input. But quite honestly, I'd like to, at this moment, I'd like to agree to disagree on that one. Right? You don't have to be nasty. You can acknowledge the fact that normally you take their advice, but on this one, you choose not to. And also, Nada, be honest enough to say, hey, I could be completely wrong. But, right now, that is my feeling. And if they try and go, but you don't understand, you're so stupid because you go, you could be right. You could be right. By the way, those words, you could be right, are a great set of words to stop almost any argument with somebody. All right, so Nada's still saying she's trying to figure out if she wants that person back in her life. Well, as I said, why don't you test the waters, see how they're doing, see if they've learned any lesson. And if you find, Nada, that you're starting to feel less than, understand that's your stuff, not theirs. Right? Remember what we said about emotion, Nada? Hang on a second, got to find the dreaded pens here. Okay, so remember that, okay, they cannot make you feel less than, all right? Who makes you feel less than, Nada? Wait, I'm still trying to find the right pen. There we go. So here we go. Nada's saying, I know it's my stuff, but why put myself in that situation? Practice is a good idea. If you know this person triggers you, and that's what I call it, that's being triggered by somebody. If you know this person triggers you emotionally, then that's a really good person for you to be around for a while you learn how to not let that happen. I've got somebody in my life that triggers me, and right, and it's really interesting because I keep telling them, please don't sugarcoat everything with me. If you want to tell me I need you to move X, Y, and Z, just tell me that. I don't know if any of you relate to this. But this person will say, because they don't want to hurt you or upset you or whatever, they'll go, do you always use this thing a lot? Or do you like seek first to understand, which I get, and I go, why, what do you want? Well, I just wondered, now, what do you want? Stop wasting my time is what I'm thinking. What do you want? And it's really interesting how they are unable to tell me what they want. All right. So Nada's saying, What if I don't feel mentally or emotionally strong enough at the moment? Stay well away. Yeah, stay well away. If you're not prepared to practice, stay away. But don't think they're wrong. Remember, what you feel is your business, right? And you have to do something to get out of that hamster wheel and get into reality. And quite honestly, Nada, the best thing you can do is to be around somebody who triggers you, even if you take one day a month to do it, right? Just go, okay, Tuesday's the day. I'm going to see how long I can last without her triggering me. Because the chances are they will trigger you. And so this is where my control came up, Nada, which is, this person that I've got in my life that's trying to help me, but, they just cannot call a spade a shovel. You know what I mean? It's just like everything is so politically correct. And I'm going, can you just tell me what you want? It's a guy. Now, most men are pretty good at telling you what they want if you ask them straight up. But this one, very difficult. The other thing I keep trying to explain is if you tell me what you want, yeah. Okay, so Nada, just to let you know that YouTube doesn't like that use of all your characters there. So yes, but the question that I have is, I had to look. You see, I take everything as a mirror now, Nada. Everything that happens to me, I turn it around and go, where am I doing this to other people? Where am I not just telling them straight up? All right? Where am I sugarcoating it, trying to say it nicely? And so I try and take everything like this that happens to me as a lesson. I don't take it that it's here to upset me. I go, where am I doing this? Because, 9 times out of 10, I am. And so let's think about this. All right, so you want to do a bit of work on this so that it doesn't trigger you as much? Can you give me a for instance? Can you think of where this person has intimidated you? What have they said that intimidated you? And it's really important because this will really help other people. If you've got one that you can share. All right, so while I'm pretty certain everybody's got that person in their life that intimidates them a little bit. By the way, Nada, just so you know, I am that person for some people. I don't mean to be, but as you can probably tell. Why are you doing that? Or why are you doing it like that? Oh, that reminds me of my brother. Yeah. My brother, when I see him, which is, as you know, is not very often, but my brother will actually teach me how to load a dishwasher. Or try to. And I go, Jeff, honey, I don't know if you've noticed, but, like you, I am into my 70s now, and I've been loading a dishwasher since about my 20s. I think that's when they came out with them. And so that's 50 years of loading a dishwasher. My way. And apparently you've got a different way. So feel free to show me, but I won't necessarily do it. Or, all right, so this is like, can you understand, Nada, that there is an essence of them trying to help you in there? All right, so the answer to why are you doing it that way? Because I like it that way. Now, if you're smart, you'll say, do you have another way that I should look at? You don't have to do it. But I can hear from the way you're wording that you have an issue with the way in which I'm doing it. So tell me what your issue is. make sure, remember, I don't know, did you listen to that one that we did last week? About, turning the arrow back with a question. And if you didn't, Jody, when did we do that? Friday evening last week, I think. Now, if you didn't listen to that broadcast or watch that broadcast, have a look at it, because I actually did how to reverse those situations in that one. So they say, why are you doing like that? Yes, turning the arrow around, right? Because what happens to you is, this is you, okay? And what they do is they say something, and you end up keeping that thought here and letting it fester, right? It goes round and round in your hamster wheel, and you're thinking all sorts of horrible thoughts. The trick is not to let it dwell, okay? So the trick is that when they say this, you just go, oh, that's interesting. Why do you want me to change that? See, the word is you. Why do you want me to change that? I'm sure you've got a good reason. Well, because I think you should. The word should is always a giveaway about control in these situations now. I think you should be doing it X, Y, and Z. Oh, that's interesting. Why? just keep sending it back, Nada. And what will happen is when they can't control you because you keep coming back with another question, they will give up eventually. Right? It'll get boring. And I want you to see how many times you can throw the question back. Right? Don't worry about winning or losing. Just how many times can I go, oh, really? Why is that? Or somebody said to me, it's called assertiveness part 2, right? Somebody said to me, why haven't you done X, Y, and Z? And I just go, why is that important to you? What? Why is that important to you? And they go, well, because, it's like, why is it taking you so long? Why is that important to you? Be a broken record, Nada. Well, because I think you should have been finished by now. Yeah, apparently. Well, I'm not. Can we move on now? And it becomes, it becomes a really interesting technique, if I can put it that way, Nada. All right, so what happens to you, as long as you can get this, what happens to you is they send the arrow to you. That's an eyelid, by the way. And you just take it in and get angry. I'm saying don't even take it in. Just send it right back. All right, so the lady saying to me, can I pick it up on Thursday? No. Oh, by the way, that was another thing we learned last week, Nada, just so that you know. No is a complete sentence. It works really well with controlling bosses, parents, friends. However, controlling bosses, they take a little bit more tact on controlling bosses. Parents, yes, very good on parents. Because people are incredibly judgmental, aren't they? And here's the bad thing, Nada. If you are around incredibly judgmental people, the chances are you need this practice because you're probably pretty judgmental too. I found that I was. And so, are you a faith-based person in any way, Nada? And I say this because this is a really interesting one that I've discovered. How many people who consider themselves to be very faith-based do not trust God at all? Right? They are busy trying to play God all over the place. And so to me, it's like, why are you letting this upset you? Don't you trust that God has this under control? Now, if somebody says to me, why are you doing it that way? I'll go, because it's the best way I know. Do you have a better way? All right. So I might say that to a boss. The reason I'm doing it this way is that's the only way I know, if that's true. But if you have a faster way of doing it or a better way of doing it, feel free to let me know. Now, some people can give me a better way, but guess what? Their better way may require different tools, different apps, different whatever that I don't have. And I go, yeah, I'm sure if I had your money and your ability to buy all those fancy things, I'd be able to do it that way too, but I can't. So I'm happy. How many of you had people try and tell you a shortcut to their house that takes twice as long as the way you go? Yes, Nada. Well done. Nada's saying, and we may not want to do it that way anyway. Simple. Exactly. So that's why you need to say, thank you so much for the input. I appreciate it. I'll give it some thought. Don't tell the lie and say, I'll do it that way. Just say, I'll give it some thought next time I'm in that situation. Don't lie. Yeah, wow, that's interesting. Thank you. No, I'm going to do it. That's interesting. Thank you. I'll give that some thought. Or, I hear that that's faster for you. I really don't think that would be faster for me. But I'm prepared to, give it some thought. Maybe even practice it a bit and see if it is. But what happens to us is people are trying to control us all the time. And the reason is that we are controllable. And I have to tell you something, that when you cease to be controllable, it's amazing how quickly people stop trying to control you. Now, some are a bit slow. Some take quite a while. And by the way, if they still keep trying to control you, just see it as practice, Nada. That's what I do. Okay, God, apparently I need more practice on this one. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It was the same thing as I was saying about my trailer. I do not have a for sale sign on my trailer. And it was just like 2 people in the space of 10 days have asked me if my trailer's for sale. It was actually 2 people within a week asked me if my trailer's for sale. I keep going, did I put a for sale notice on there? But then I went, okay, apparently it is. Why? If people are coming to ask me if my trailer's for sale, it's obviously time to sell my trailer. Somewhere in the big scheme of things. That's funny timing. Yes, if you don't believe in coincidences, I don't believe in coincidences. I go, okay, fine, it's time to sell my trailer. And so this is where I started, right? About it's time to let go. How difficult is it for me to let go of a trailer that I've had for 20 years, that I used it as the command center for hundreds I did 3 leadership conventions every year, leadership retreats every year for young people based out of that trailer. I would talk all day or with them, and then in the evenings we would sit and drink coffee and discuss the world even more. And sometimes, I don't mind telling you, we talked through the night because they were so wanting that information. So, that trailer has a huge amount of memory for me. So let me ask you guys, because you're smart now, what is it that I need to do when I go into the trailer and I pick up the next thing that is a memory? All right. I want you to think about that. Almost everything that is in that trailer at some level is a memory for me. All right. And that's why it's still in the trailer. Now, I'm leaving an awful lot of stuff in the trailer in terms of pots and pans and cleaning stuff and stuff like that, because it's going to a homeless person. And my attitude is, why wouldn't I just leave it all in there and let them have it? Now, there's part of me that goes, well, if I got another trailer, I'd want it. And I'd go, no, not necessarily. Right, so Nada's very smart. She's saying you got to let go of the emotion. So the object, the trailer is not the people and the music. But it's hard, though. It's not hard, Nada. Right? It's very simple if I've got control of myself. I pick it up and go, oh, that was a great memory. Do I want to keep this memory, or is the memory in my brain and I don't need this symbol of it? And that's what I was doing. I was picking it up and just going through that process. Do I really need to keep this? And where am I going to put it in my new home? Am I just going to have it in yet another box? And if so, why don't I just let it go now? And, some things I may need to pick it up 3 or 4 times. It's a moment in life, not in the trailer. Well, it is both. I'm not going to lie that it wasn't a moment in the trailer, because a lot of it was a moment in the trailer. I literally saved lives in that trailer, and I literally changed lives in that trailer. And I have very fond memories of it all over the place. So to me, I'm giving myself permission not to throw it all away. Right? It's like, you don't have to throw it away if you don't want to. If you want to cart this around for another 20 years, that's your right. There's nobody that's going to tell me to throw it away. Yep. So do you understand? It's like, I think when you can give yourself permission to not throw something away, I think as Marie Kondo says that as well, right? Sometimes you need to give yourself permission not to throw things away. We think that downsizing means throwing our stuff out. It means throwing your junk out, not your stuff. Not the stuff that means stuff to you. Keep that. So if I've got one box that is fond memories and it's still with me when I die, that's my right. I may need to have an extra bedroom just to house all that stuff, but that's my right. Does that make sense, Nada? So part of me is I need to stay, easy for me to say, I need to stay strong on that is my right as a human being. You may not agree with it, but it is my right. I don't have to throw it away. So, but I am also aware that there's quite a lot of stuff. Like, right now, here are 2 things, right? One is my bicycle helmet. When am I going to ride a bike again? And the other is my riding helmet. Almost brand new. And I kept thinking, I think I should sell these. Right? Because they are in really good condition, almost brand new, probably worn once or twice. And I should get brave and sell them online. Maybe not now, but when I get settled again, and start selling these sort of things. What do you think? It definitely, I can't, I would have great difficulty throwing away a brand new riding helmet. So, or a brand new bicycle helmet for that matter. So you see, I'm looking at it going, okay, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to throw away a brand new item? No. By the way, almost everything, I did find out what size the homeless person is. And as I went through the trailer, I literally went, okay, there are a couple of towels. They're not very new towels, and really, but I'm certain a homeless person will be glad of them. All right. And so I left them. I've got a sleeping bag. How likely am I to use a sleeping bag again? Probably not. if I don't have the trailer. So, why don't I just leave it in there for a homeless person? Maybe he's got a friend that needs a sleeping bag. So I have all these, I've got all these hoodies and sweats and stuff, and I'm going, I'm certain they've got a friend that probably could do with that. So why don't I just leave it in the trailer and let them gift it to other people? When did I decide to give your trailer to a homeless person? When the person said they wanted to buy it to give to a homeless person. I said, okay, fine. From that point onwards, I made all the decisions based, I just asked what size, is it male or female? And what size are they? So I know what I can leave in the trailer. Right, I've got old runners that were in the trailer, and I'm thinking, instead of throwing them out, why don't I leave them? Maybe, the homeless person's best friend could do with a set of runners that they can fit into. I don't know. If they want to throw them out, that's great. But, let me not throw them out just because. Let me see if I can help here. Yes, so I'm turning it into a positive experience. Now, I must admit at one point after about an hour, I was losing self-control, Nada. I was beginning to get overwhelmed by all the memories. And I went, obviously, time to stop. And I could hear that nagging voice in my head going, yeah, but you've got a lot more to do. I'm going, it's obviously time to stop. Because I am losing my peace of mind. I am getting emotionally upset now. So it's time to stop and change what I'm doing to give my mind something else to work on. I do not want to go here. I do not want to get upset. I do not want to be overwhelmed with it all. I just need to know that I have until Saturday lunchtime to get it finished. And by the way, I came back in and I spoke to Yvonne via texting and said, any way that you can give me a couple of hours to help me finish clearing out the trailer. Because I know with Yvonne, it'll be done very quickly because she doesn't have that emotional attachment and she'll be able to help me with it. So do you understand that what I need help with is actually physically getting the stuff that I want to keep out of the trailer? Doesn't matter whether anybody thinks I should keep it or not. I want to. Now, I got stuff in there like Gatorade that's been in there for, too long. I've got water bottles that have been in there too long. I've got cans of food that have probably been in there too long. And I don't know how long cans of food are good for. Does anybody know? So, there's part of me that goes, I need to, either throw it all out. There's part of me that doesn't want to throw out things that are brand new. Even if it's been in a bottle for, a couple of years. So it's like they have an expiry date on them. Okay, so the chances are it's all got to go. It's just like, one big black garbage bag full of all the food, right? And just put it in the dumpster. Okay, good. All right, so that's good. Thank you for that. I am pretty sure that they will have expired if there's an expiry date thing on them. All right. So let's have a look at letting go. The truth is, unless you let go, unless you forgive yourself, unless you forgive the situation, and unless you realize that the situation is over, you cannot move forward. Can you see that that is so true of me letting go of the trailer? All right. The memories, as you so rightly say, are of the people and times. They're not of the trailer. It just happens that they happened within the trailer. Nobody can take the memories away, right? Because they're in here. And therefore, if nobody can take the memories away, do I need the physical representation? I don't think so necessarily. And how about this one? This is a very famous quote by Stephen King from The Shawshank Redemption. Some birds are not meant to be caged. That's all. Their feathers are too bright. Their songs too sweet and wild. So you let them go. And when you open the cage to feed them, they sometimes fly out past you. And part of you that knows it's wrong to imprison them in the first place rejoices. But still, the place where you live is that much more drab and empty for their departure. Yes, Stephen King was the guy that wrote the horror books, but he also wrote some other ones too. Yeah. All right. So thank you, Jody. Jody's just saying canned goods. Most expiration dates on foods in cans range from 1 to 4 years, but keep the food in a cool, dark place and the cans undented and in good condition. You can likely safely double that. How about that? Well, I think some of them still have to go. So do you understand that, this is moving on? Everything I am doing now is letting go and moving on. Two things that are so difficult for me to do. I was absolutely amazed. They took the pictures of my home. And when I was looking at the pictures, I have to tell you, I'm going, wow, that's a pretty home. And it's mine for a little bit. And it was just like, I cannot believe that it's actually done. And when I asked my realtor, when they took all the pictures, did they move anything? The answer was yes, they moved one garbage can. And in my guest bathroom, they actually moved it point A to point B. And that was the only thing they moved in taking all the pictures. And by the way, I did not overly tidy up my studio. I am an artist. I am allowed to have a room that looks like it's a studio. And that means it's a mess. I'm not a crafter, a neat, tidy crafter. I am somebody who flings paint. And so to me, it's really important that I have that room. Even if I don't paint in there, that's my messy room. And it's now the very last room, that if I have to tidy up to for a showing or something, everything that is still lying around will go into those cubies I've got. By the way, did you notice in all the rooms how useful those cubies are? And because it does, and Jody was saying that to me, it does make every room look organized. Even my realtor said the fact that I put cubies up on top of my cupboards in the kitchen just totally finished off the space. It just looked right. It didn't look like it was wrong. It looked right. And what I've been doing, hang on a second. What I've been doing is literally every time I go shopping at my local Safeway, they sell these for carrying your groceries in. And this is just a square one, which is about 10 by 10. And I think they are $4 each when you buy them there. If you buy this in Walmart, it'll cost you $9. Right? By the way, Jody, these cubies are also inside my cupboards, right? But you don't see the advertising on the side. They just are like this, right? Because they're side by side. But I keep my clothes in cubies. I put them this way, and I can put groceries in this way. And what I'm saying is, every time I go grocery shopping, I will pick up one or two of them. And now I've got my whole house. Now, what I did for my kitchen, because my kitchen is red, black, and white, I did actually buy a couple of red ones. I think I've got 2 or 3 red ones. And they just break up the black every now and then. $10 on sale for how many? Jody's saying she started collecting them too. For one, that is way overpriced. I would say to you that there are much better deals to be had than that. You may want to go to Wish. Do you know about Wish? WISH? You might be able to find a really good deal on them in Wish. I'll have a look in my spare time. But, I would check, if your grocery store sells them. I hadn't shopped from Wish either, but I did. Oh, I did. Why did I shop on there? I bought these on Wish. I bought these in black and another make like this, but in blue for the summer, and they fit. All right. So we were talking about the cubies. Did you get the cubie discussion, Nada? That I picked these up from my supermarket. I have these on top of cupboards. I have them in cupboards. I have them in cupboards this way, where I roll my trousers up, my pants up, and I put them in here so that I don't have to hang them necessarily. The ones that doesn't matter if they don't need to be, they're not my dress pants or anything. It's just my day-to-day sweats and so forth. So, they're all different ways that you can do it. Now, let me tell you, I want to tell you, I live with these now. And the cute flip-flops, yes. I just bought these on Wish. And by the way, they're the same as I would have bought in Payless or whatever. I can't remember how much I paid for them. But I tried to get the good ones. It's new clothes, not used. So what I want to say is that, hang on another second. Now, here's a trick that I only worked out this week. Now, this would be what Jody would call a Mrs. MacGyver moment. All right? And what I found out is I have a box of Kleenex. And instead of opening it there, I opened it here at the end. Why, you ask? Because I can then slide it into a cubie, and it's just the right size. And the cubie sits like this, right? And I can it's just the right height. Does that make sense? So whether, it's so much more convenient this way. And so what I've noticed is, there you go, Jody, I lit it up. Did you see that? Oh, probably won't be able to do it again now. There we go. I found out how to get the light to work. So what I'm noticing is that the more organized I get, the more organized I am. And I'm finding that I'm really beginning to get it now. Yeah, I'm lit up now. And it almost matches my top. So, we're really happy. So, letting go does not mean that you don't care about someone anymore. It just realizing that the person you really have control over is yourself. All right? Most of us do not want to let go of things because we think we're going to lose something. We do not see what we're going to gain. When one of the viewers was having a major problem with two people in their life, I actually asked a question, can you imagine that you didn't have these two people in your life? How much stress would be out of your life? Not that I wanted to wish ill on these two people, but I wanted them to see that the stress was with these people, not with themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? That they kept getting triggered by the decisions being made by these people. But the truth is, they are the ones that are out of control, not the people over there. Is this making any sense now? Okay, so broadcast video. Okay, sentences or words, Sal's inner voice brain says back in certain situations. I want to tell you, I would be happy to do that. So maybe things my inner voice corrects. Yeah. And I do it a lot. I do it all day long. I do it all day long. By the way, do you want to smile? Is this anybody you know? You can tell it was the sort of 70s, early 80s, right? I'm beginning to find the memories. And this was another picture I thought you'd enjoy. So, I know, isn't it ridiculous? So it's really amazing to see these things. I'm going, wow. You realize that's half a century ago. Scary stuff. And I've still got them. Yes, that's actually not a bad idea. You want me to post them so I can remember what I used to look like. Do you know something really funny, though? I looked at this and I go, that was a really nice picture at the time, all right? And so was the one that was used in the article. By the way, I like the fact that, these initials up here happen to be mine. But I was going, I actually don't think I've changed all that much. Can I get my head that way? It's, the memories. But, now here's a great one, Nada. If I did a video of that, do you understand how many people would go, gosh, how egotistical is that? It's the same thing as I now have all the videos of inside my house. And, my question is, do I put that link up for my viewers so that they can see what my house really looks like, as opposed to the bits that they've seen? You want pics in the memory, right? The greatest memory I have of this particular article, was the fact that it launched my speaking career. Wow. And listen to this. It goes to show how little I've changed, all right? For Sally, my other name, advertising sales manager and Merit and Honor Award winner at the Institute of Marketing Management, Certificate in Sales Management, success lies less in accumulating a fact bank balance than it does in meeting her own very personal goals. How many of you are going, I haven't changed very much, have I? I said, I believe in three things in my life. I know I need money. That's my background. my lifestyle, but I also need to be loved and to love. And I need the ability to make people smile and then smile at myself. How about that? So I look at it and I go, that was 50 years ago. And I really haven't changed. And I'm not unhappy that I haven't changed. Right? It is who I am. And so to me, this is really amazing experience. And what I wanted to make sure, that's why I asked you all before I started this, is that it is important to know who you are. Now, listen to where I made this decision. Part of my decision was I could take the money, the equity I have built up in this property and spend it all in a very nice apartment. You know what I mean? A really nice looking apartment. But then I'd have no living money. All right. I'd be trying to live. Or I could spend it all in a lesser situation and have money to not worry about money as much. And I don't know about you. I am now going to be 72 this year, and I'm looking at the next 10 years. I'm hoping to stay fairly healthy in the next 10 years, maybe very healthy if I can get away with it. And so to me, it's like, I don't want too much upkeep. That's my only problem. If I get a manufactured home, there's upkeep around it, and I'm going, well, not if I put down AstroTurf and I don't have to mow it, and not if I put down, not if I put down brick and stone rather than garden. All right, then I can have a couple of container tubs that will keep me happy. Right? So this is all, but that will cost money. And by the way, is that an investment? Not really. Right? Because I don't think I'd get a whole lot of investment money back on that. But it would be about my peace of mind. So you see, I'm looking at it, what do I need for me? The other thing is, we've had this discussion many, many times, is I'm living in the top floor of my own house, which I guess is about 1,200 square feet. So I know that I can live in this space very comfortably. I can live in 1,000 square feet. I don't want to live in much less than that. Does that make sense? Not because I can't. This is about, what do I feel comfortable with? So I know that I could have lived in 500 square feet if I really wanted to do that. So to me, it's like, I want to know, what is it that I need for me? What makes me happy? I very, very rarely, I sit in my dining room 3 times a week when I broadcast. Jody saw the pictures of my home, and she said it was actually quite fun to see the pictures of the dining room, where I'd sat for 6 years, with the wall behind me and the wall over there. So it really is interesting that the only time I sit here is to do the broadcast. And occasionally if I have people over for dinner, which I do less than this. How often do I sit in my living room? Very rarely. So to me, I've got to look at, what is my reality now? And so Jody, I'm pretty certain that when you made the decision to put your hospital bed in your living room, that was to suit you, not the rest of the world. Am I correct? That was a boundary you set. I actually don't need to live stream different locations in my house. I could quite honestly just put the pictures up. I'm very seriously thinking about just putting the link up to all the pictures, because the sort of people that are interested in seeing it are going to want to see all of it at one time. And why not see it without me in it? Just see the house. That's what you want to see. Jody, from seeing the pictures, yes, you'd be interested, right? Jody, I sent the link to Jody, and she said to me that the word that came to her mind was how incredibly organized it was. and I'm going, I did it. I got to look organized when I'm not. Yes, Jody's saying it was a practical decision that served your needs, but to do that, Jody, to be able to put a hospital bed in your living room, you had to let go. Hi, Nyasha. You had to let go of what everybody else's judgment was of that. All right? And so when you learn to let go, what is the freedom? Now, where's your ego on this one, Jody? You see, the ego still stays, because if you still don't want to invite people into your space because you've got a hospital bed in your living room, then your ego is attached. Do you understand that? And maybe that's a discussion we might need to have, which is how many of our bugaboos are linked to our ego? All right, not to our practical self, but to our ego. I know an awful lot of people, and I was one, which was I didn't want to let people into my house because it would take me too long to tidy it up. And that was the truth. I don't mind admitting it. Now, quite honestly, it looks like we've got a bit of a glitch. I'm still here, I think. Okay. Now somebody wants to come into my house. Oh, I forgot the battery. Hang on a second.